It's like a long-standing tradition that if you go to a, like a horror convention or something, and you encounter Linnea Quigley, which is one of the celebrated scream queens of the '80s. Even though personally I'm like, she sucks.
Mm.
Now, granted, there's some people that are like, that's why we like her, and then power to them. She sucks.
Yeah.
One might say she's a fucking lunatic with her, like, I think boyfriend or husband or whatever, lording over her, making sure nobody comes into, like, contact with her, even though that's the point of a meet and greet.
Yeah.
She's a little nuts.
Titties.
Yeah, but she's like, it's not hot anymore.
Yeah. Oh no.
The point is, she's a little nuts, and I dare you, I challenge you to give me someone crazier than Linnea Quigley that was in Return of the Living Dead.
Brian Peck, when it comes to the diddling.
All right, well, that took care of that.
Yeah. Fun fact, he's like friends with Brian, what's his name?
Brian
Dick Schneider.
Oh, Dan Schneider.
Dan Schneider and Brian Singer.
Confirmed
Diddling.
This has got to look. Look in general.
Side note.
In general, diddling is an issue.
Yeah.
Just stop diddling,
It's
please.
not good.
But stop diddling and then be in movies that we like.
Yeah.
That's like a fucking problem, dude.
Yeah.
Like Kevin Spacey, now I can't watch anything with Kevin Spacey. Why I still will.
Oh yeah.
Don't
And
get
I'll
me wrong.
enjoy it, and
Yeah.
I'll think he's cool in it.
Usual Suspects is awesome.
Yeah. He's Baby Driver.
Fucking Seven's amazing. Baby Driver.
He gets his
Come
face
on.
smashed in and that.
So, but still, in the back of your fucking mind, you're like, dude,
yeah, diddling
why'd you diddle, man?
babies.
And Kevin Spacey at least has massive amounts of talent as an actor, except for that fucking stupid video he did where he tried to be clever about things
Oh,
and
that
it
was
just sucked.
Ooh, that was painful, wasn't it?
On the other hand, Brian Peck has no talent. So really, like, come on, dude, why'd you have to diddle? Now, whenever we see this awesome movie, we're being like, oh man, but he diddled.
Yeah.
The good thing is he's like a background character and nobody cares about
He
him.
gets killed kind of
and he dies.
unceremoniously.
Anyway, diddling aside, we're talking about Return of the Living Dead, aka how to diddle a franchise.
Return of the Living Diddler.
Return of the Living Dead is like an unofficial fucking spur to the fucking Night of the Living Dead franchise, which, by the way, has like 10,000 fucking different avenues you can take, and none of them virtually are good. The worst ones, coincidentally, come from the mind of John Russo, who is responsible for the initial idea for Return of the Living Dead. Thankfully, Dan O'Bannon, the man that gave us, like fucking Alien, the screenplay, came along and said, your idea sucks. Let's make it into something cool instead. And he gave us Return of the Living Dead, directed it even.
Then he cast Brian Peck, and we're like, oh man.
I ruined that, buddy. But yeah, man, this could have been a very different movie had John Russo maintained control of it. And I guarantee you almost 100% it would have sucked because he gave us later Children of the Living Dead, which fucking blew. And he was like fully responsible for that one.
Yep.
But thankfully that was not the case. That was not the case. At least he didn't diddle.
That's a good point.
Hashtag he didn't diddle though.
Hashtag didn't diddle. Yeah, damn it.
So we could give John Russo that much credit. No diddling there, at least that we know of.
No.
And if he did, it's not like he's ruining any movies that we like.
And if he did, it's not like he's famous, so no one's gonna care.
That's true, man. God, he sucks. Anyway, let's put Russo aside and focus on this. Would have been his masterpiece. Hashtag wouldn't have because he fucking licks. But it is the version we ultimately got from the band himself.
The bandmaster.
The bandman, if you will, is a masterpiece of
Panorama.
Comedic horror. One of the greats, if you will, of comedy horror. I mean, we've seen this movie countless times, but just what do you think of it, man?
I mean, it's probably my favorite comedy horror. And in a world where Shaun of the Dead exists.
How about Ghostbusters? You hating on Ghostbusters now?
Nah, but it doesn't compare in my book. Because Ghostbusters is kind of like primarily comedy.
Right.
This is like, it's horror and it's funny. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really count Ghostbusters as horror comedy. I count it as comedy with horror elements.
It's like you say, primarily comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, this is a favorite. I mean, if you're a horror fan and you don't like the original Return of the Living Dead, you're the rare fan out there. I'm not saying you're not a horror fan for not liking it, but I am saying You're one of the people that either is lying their ass off, trying too hard to be fucking edgy and cool.
It sucks.
Yeah, or you're genuinely one of the rarest fucking horror fans out there.
This is like a movie people that don't like horror like.
Yeah, it's just one of those movies that attracts tons of attention and deservedly so. So let's talk about this little flick here. This flick of the dead, if you will. Talk some pros and cons and the like. First one thing you want to get off your chest before we get into the nitty gritty about this flick.
Well, I think
hopefully nothing with diddling.
Well, I was about to say the biggest con, Diddler. It's pretty big. Pretty big one.
Besides that.
Yeah. Biggest pro, I got to throw it out there.
Mm-hmm.
This was the inspiration for this channel's name.
Yeah. There are half dogs or split dogs, as they're called in the movie.
Yep.
And that's really why we're called Half Dog Productions.
The art that I did.
Yeah.
It's just a split dog ripoff.
I do like that once those split dogs get reanimated, the response is to hit them, even though they're super cute.
My favorite part is that they go up to it. They don't react until they turn over the split dog as to confirm that they're still dead. And then they just batter them with a crutch.
Oh, man. I want one of the split dogs.
Yeah,
I'm not going to lie. I would have it and I would pet it. Yeah. Maybe not on the gross side, but pretty much would pet it 24/7. Anyway, yeah, man. I think my biggest pro for this movie is that it's led by a cast of older people. There are tons of younger fucks in this. Don't get me wrong, but the younger people kind of take the back seat to the older actors, the more seasoned ones, and they're the funniest ones.
Yeah,
you know, they have the funniest reactions. They're the ones that handle the stuff better. They play off the balance between comedy and like straight man very well. And yeah, that's cool, man. I always love a movie, especially in horror, where they focus more on adults than they do teenagers. Even when I was a teenager, I kind of hated movies like that. Like slashers, I didn't really love them because of that element, even though I love slasher movies. But so this is one of those where it's like, hell yeah, there's some old fucks.
Cool.
And they're funny as shit.
And one might be a Nazi.
Yeah, apparently he's this really Germanic guy weird. So snaps to attention, has Lugers, has a fucking weird propaganda poster in the background.
Freaking Hitler hanging out.
I don't know if that was Hitler, but it sure as hell looked like Hitler in the background.
He had a little mustache.
The fuck was that all about? Secret Nazi guy in this movie? Anyway, well, he got along with the black dude pretty well.
That's a good point.
So maybe not.
Maybe he moved on from...
Anyway, I gotta point out that this movie has one of those cool opening credit sequences.
Yeah.
You know, maybe I'm not talking like cool to the levels of Watchmen. I'm talking it's cool in that distinctly 80s quiche fashion. You know, so that's just one of those things that gets you in the mood once you see it.
Yeah.
Like even if the beginning didn't get you in the mood for some fucking reason, that little intro's like, yeah.
It has that like it actually ends with a really kind of freaky shot that's kind of going in on that corpse that's twitching.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually kind of freaky looking and really cool and really well shot. And then cut to half dogs. You're kind of like, wow, okay.
And to the opposite end of that is the final part of the movie. Kind of becomes like this like extremely dour ending.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool to contrast everything that's gone on in the movie, which is pretty fucking ridiculous and over the top. It ends with, blowing up thousands of people, and it's still pretty much continuing. Also like that quite a bit. Just point out that this was the only movie where I found Linnea Quigley hot as Trash, the naked zombie. Eventually,
yeah, she does got good body in that.
Yeah, I never got the fucking thing behind Linnea Quigley, man. I think she was just coasting off of this one movie, really. Because besides this movie, she was in a lot of fucking garbage. And, garbage can be fun, don't get me wrong, to some degree. But there's only so much garbage you can excuse before you go, this chick fucking sucks. She's not a good actress. I guess she's mildly attractive. But really, this is the only one where she's hot. I never got it, man. But I guess it's like, like fucking, what was that fucking? Julie Strain.
Oh, yeah.
Which I think she passed away, but, recently.
Rip, but you're hideous.
But, but what I'm saying is, there's that like cult of people that follow her strictly because they thought she was hot, and I never understood it. I mean, tastes are different, but with Linnea Quigley, it was like, I get it. This she was hot in. Everything else she was not hot in. She sucks. The thing she's in sucks.
It's that ravenous horror following.
I guess, man. I guess. It's no excuse.
Yeah, she's definitely insane, though.
So I'll just, yeah, definitely. So I'll just say that this is a pro. She's hot in this for sure.
Yeah.
And yeah, hashtag dat bod dow.
It's a good bod. I do want to throw a minor con, but also a humongous positive.
All right.
Her freaking tearaway crotch makes no sense. But also pro because tearaway crotch and it's funny.
Yeah. Tearaway crotches in general. Unless they're on really hung dudes.
They're pretty great.
Pretty great. I gotta say that this movie has also some of the best like hero zombies out there. Of course, if you look at the background, there are just a bunch of people that have mud on them, basically.
Fango.
But yeah,
Tarman, dude.
The hero zombies are pretty awesome. The effects are great. So that's a big plus. Yeah, Tarman's one of the legendary ones. You know, the half lady doesn't get the props she needs.
Yeah.
The trash zombie. I mean, that Bodow.
I met that Jodow. I met
them teeps.
I met the half lady. She was pretty cool.
Was she like, I'm a full body person?
Yeah. I'm not kidding, by the way. I met the half lady. She was kind of cool. Anyway, I gotta throw a big pro. And it said this movie has like my favorite zombie lore of all time.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not much lore, but yeah, I get what you're getting at.
As in, it kind of explains why they eat flesh.
Or brains.
Well, yeah, brains specifically in this. And it's kind of freaky and kind of cool, and you're like, oh, that's a good
It reminds me of that moment in I mean, really, if you think about it, it's not a good reason, but it's a spooky reason.
Yeah.
It reminds me of that moment in Ghostbusters, the bridge moment.
Yeah. Which,
Ghostbusters, of course, very funny movie, but it has this legitimately scary, spooky moment with Winston and Ray conversing about, the apocalypse, basically, the end of days on the bridge as they drive across the bridge. And there's a genuinely spooky moment in the midst of all this comedy. And that moment, though not as effective as the Ghostbusters one, has that eerie feeling to it. Yeah.
Because you're kind of... And not only does it add a reason to why they're doing stuff, but it shows you that they're intelligent.
Yeah.
Like that they're conscious and they can think. Which kind of makes it even freakier for me. Because it's like, man, these dudes can speak coherently. And yet they're eating people.
Yeah.
To quench their pain hunger. If that makes any sense. And I always found that kind of creepy because they're not like brainless zombies. They're fully coherent zombies that can think and are still going out for people. And also the fact that they can't die, I always found freaky. Like you just chop them and they keep coming after you. Just imagine being a freaking meat zombie that has been chopped to bits and you can still feel pain.
There was this book by Anne Rice called Ramses the Damned, or I guess there is. I mean, it's not like it disappeared from the fucking planet.
Yeah, back in my day, there was this book by Anne Rice.
She wrote a sequel. Don't mistake it for that one because I haven't read that one. But yeah, the original had that concept. By the way, if they ever made that mummy story into a mummy movie, it would be cool. I'm just saying, there's not a lot of cool mummy movies. Yeah. Hashtag most mummy movies fucking lick.
Yeah.
They don't even suck. They lick. Anyway, they had that similar idea, the undying body. And there's this scene where in an attempt to quash this curse that has overtaken ancient Egypt, they grind up all these people and animals and throw them into the Nile, but the flesh is still alive in the bottom of the river. Like, pretty eerie concept.
That's kind of what I mean. Obviously, they never show it, but they mention it in the movie. I know you were talking about the book, but just to tie it back, they mentioned that the chop it to bits and they'll still come after you. It's kind of disturbing just to think about that. Like, imagine being that shit, and the fact that they can think in this world is like, ugh. So yeah, I always like that. Despite the fact that it's super comedic, if you kind of think about it, it's a little gross and disturbing.
And the good thing about it is that it never loses a beat with a comedy, despite throwing these kind of weird little elements at you. In fact, that very thing is used for comedic effect later, where one of the characters has just turned zombie, chooses to kill himself, whereas the other one chooses to try to very lamely and hilariously convince or canoodle his way up into a fucking attic to get some brains. Quite ineffectively, one might say. But yeah, man, the comedy in this is tight, man. It's one joke after the other, and they don't come off as jokes. They just come off as these people
funny
reacting,
things that are happening
hilariously to what's going on. Even when you're in the midst of the zombie action, they still come at you pretty quick. And then it's one of those movies that's so ridiculous and so off the cuff fun that a lot can be forgiven with it. Like, why the fuck do the zombies hide in the bushes?
Damn it, that's just great.
Why are they just coordinating to wait for more and more? I mean, it makes sense, but at the same time, it's so utterly ridiculous.
It again kind of ties into the fact that these are thinking zombies.
Yeah, but it's fucking...
But it's ridiculous
stupid as hell if you think about it. Right? If this were made into a serious movie, it would take a lot to get that concept over. I'm not saying that it's impossible, but I'm saying it would take a lot to get that concept over. Whereas this, it's just kind of something that you accept, and it has to do with that steady clip that is pretty on point, I gotta say. I think another pro for me is that this is a movie that's distinctly of the 80s.
Oh, yeah.
There's no way this type of movie, or this specific movie, I should say, could be made in another period in time and have the same flavor, the feel, and the look, obviously.
This for like the longest time was the movie that I would think of when I'd be like 80s horror movie.
The only thing missing from it is burning barrels of trash.
That's a good point.
If you had a burning barrel in this, it would be the perfect 80s
burning
movie.
Barrel and a lot more like backlighting.
Yeah, maybe another punk. I mean, there was already 2 of them in there, but
just another
3 really, I guess, if you count the black guy. Sort of punkish, I guess, right?
Punketos.
But anyway, yeah, very distinctly 80s, and that's always a fucking plus because that just makes it all the cheesier, and that that's what this movie's all about, I guess. Give me anything else you got left if you got them, because there's no cons to this, in my opinion.
Oh no,
there can't be.
There can't be if you're gonna be a butthole.
Yeah, that's the type of movie. If you come up with a con for this movie, you're just a dick.
Yeah,
like you're an unfunny sourpuss.
Yeah.
Like you're an old man on some. You're Clint Eastwood.
You would definitely
take all the joy out of fucking everything and then call it good.
You take a joyous freaking Broadway musical and make it into a gritty film.
Yeah, it makes you want to commit suicide by the end.
You're like, really, dude?
What the fuck's wrong with you, Clint? Damn, man. I bet you they gave him like Sesame Street the movie. He would make it about fucking suicide and murder. Revenge for sure. Really thinly veiled racism.
He would be playing Elmo in it or something.
Yeah. And Elmo's out to get you. Let me tell you. Elmo doesn't like fucking multinationals on his lawn, let me tell you. Shit.
He doesn't
fuck, Clint?
He doesn't like any reds.
Anyway.
No, wait, he's red.
He's red.
He doesn't like any greens, I guess.
Any yellows and purples. Damn, the colors on Sesame Street are jacked. Anyway, the point is... What
supposed to be? Like, anyway, whatever.
Who gives a shit? Anyway, let's give a final score on this little picture. A classic if you haven't seen it. What's wrong with you? Get to seeing this.
This is like one of the movies I remember freaking super clearly watching the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Like I told you when we were watching it, I remember it so clearly that I remember asking you why the dude was yellow in the fridge and all that shit. So it's kind of like one of those weird movies that I'm just kind of a little like... It's a comfort film, you know?
Right.
Pop that bad baby in and I'll enjoy it. Do a little laugh. Do a little... That's kind of freaky if you think about it. These are probably my favorite zombies when it comes to the rules. Obviously, you know, there's a lot of just mud guys. And also, why does the skeleton from 1891 have eyes? But I think just rules-wise, they're probably my favorite zombies. Also, one of the earlier runners. So everybody wants to cry about runners. You got to shit on this movie. And as we previously established, if you shit on this movie, you're a piece of shit.
Yep. Gotcha.
So I got to say, this is, I can't give it anything less than a 10. I know it might be a little biased just because of my love for it,
Yeah.
but also Thethelf. So, Ted.
Nobody knows what the fuck
Nope.
that means. Yeah, man, I'll give it a 9.5. It's unabashedly shameless fun.
You know what? I gotta go with 9.5 too. I gotta take off half a point for the diddling.
Yeah, diddling. I was about to say, man, 9.5. This is just a shamelessly fun movie, unbridled fun, if you will. But it does have a diddler, so it gets 0.5 taken off.
That's a good point.
I'm all for forgiving people, even if they're diddlers.
Also,
But this guy, come on, man, you
he's
kept on diddling.
He's still diddling, and he's still hanging out with Bryan Singer and Dan
Dude, if
Schneider.
you're still hanging out with Bryan Singer and that ring of diddlers, you have not learned your lesson.
Fun fact, also still working in kids programming.
Yeah, what? Come on, man. Stop diddling.
Fun
Anyway.
fact, also, oh man, I gotta stop with.
Yeah, it's not good.
I bought one of the one movie he directed the other day. Well, not the other day, literally like a couple months ago. Looked it up. I was like, oh man, diddler.
What was it called? The Boogans?
I forgot.
No, not the
Gate.
Boogans.
No, not the Gate.
No, not the cake.
The
Come on, man.
Googlioms, I think. All I know is Samwise Gamgee is in it, so maybe Samwise diddled.
Damn, man, I forgot the name of the movie. Now it's the Chillers? The Chills? God damn it, it's bothering me now.
The Croutons, I think.
Anyway, check this movie out if you haven't already. And if you have, check it out again. Because, even a diddler can ruin it. So that's high praise right there.
That's a good point.
Anyway, I'm going to go diddle now.
Each other?
Yeah, each other
69?
69ing each other to the break of dawn.
Yeah.
Anyway, hit like, share, subscribe, those notification buttons for more movie nonsense on this stupid ass channel. You like that?
We gotta get like a half dog hat.
Dude, I need a half dog, period.
Like
That, condom, I don't care what it is. Half dog me up. That's a phrase, right?
Condom?